Hi, everyone. I'm Emily Longeretta.
And I'm Michael Schneider, and welcome to Variety's Awards Circuit. We're back, Emily.
I'm so excited.
Talking about the primetime Emmy race. And this time out, we're talking about the drama category. So, as we know, last year, Shogun swept. I mean, it killed. It keeps winning. It's still winning awards. I don't know how that's happening. They still find new awards for Shogun to win, even though that was a year ago.
That's right.
But nonetheless, it's not eligible for this year's drama category, which is fine because there are a million other contenders.
Drama is the biggest race, in my opinion, this year. I feel like there's so many great ones. Starting out, with the favorite, which would be Severance.
Yeah. It feels like it's the front runner.
Yes, 100%. So in 2022, there was 14 noms, 2 Emmys. Of course, drama series, writing, directing, casting, all got nominated. And then, the entire cast. Patricia Arquette, Adam Scott, John Turturro, Christopher Walken. it goes on and on.
Yeah.
So I think that this year, that's the one that everyone can there's nothing as ever a shoo-in, as we know, but this is a shoo-in.
It's pretty much. Yeah. Although this is, we'll get to some of the other shows that are contenders as well. I think there's some spoilers here. There's some chances that people may be feeling something else, and depending on, what the narrative is out there.
Of course.
Right now, The Last of Us is wrapping up its run, and it had quite an amazing year, a very disturbing year. So are we ready to talk about spoilers?
I think we can talk about them at this point.
All right. Well, if people haven't watched it, then they don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
So Pedro Pascal, of course, his character brutally murdered in the second episode of the season. So it was early on, changed the tone of the show, also changed sort of the makeup of the show.
And the categories, which we'll get into later, but oof.
But, this was a show that, again, in its first season in 2023, it did well. 24 nominations. It won 8 Emmys. It really dominated in guest last time with Nick Offerman and Storm Reed both winning, but it was nominated in drama series, directing, casting, writing. So, of course, Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, the 2 stars of the show, although Pedro not necessarily the star anymore.
Who knows? We will get into other more specifics with categories, but I do think that The Last of Us is the one that has been really created this water cooler moment that is lasting the longest, because this show is going up until the end of voting period. So it actually has that kind of that advantage of airing later on in the year.
Yeah. What's interesting, though, is we're talking about Last of Us and Severance, 2 shows that are both very sci-fi oriented, the kind of genre that traditionally didn't do all that well at the Emmys, but
so interesting.
But now they're
that way.
And Last of Us particularly it's a spooky show. It's got zombies, obviously. It's gruesome, but nonetheless, it's definitely a front runner.
Yeah, but another genre that hasn't always done well, especially in recent years, is medical dramas. And this year, The Pit has come into the landscape guns blazing. It's very much become one of the most talked about of the year. And I don't think anybody, including Max, HBO Max, whatever we're saying,
we call it
today's
now.
world, I don't think even they thought that it was going to be what it is.
And this is the show when I said that there are spoilers afoot, that Severance is not necessarily a shoe-in. The Pit is what I was thinking
100%. So, of course, ER was one of the most nominated of all time, with 124 nominations. When I read that stat, I was really surprised because that was a little bit before I was covering TV, and I just did not. I knew how much of a hit it was.
It was a show. It was also on the long time. But what's interesting is the last few years of ER, it got blanked. It really, it was those first couple of years were just dominated. It was just an Emmy darling, because those early years of ER, especially the George Clooney era,
of course,
that thing was getting 40 million viewers a week, which is insane.
The good old days, right? So 23 wins, and of course, Best Drama in 96. Noah Wyle got 5 noms, but no wins.
No.
Which is crazy to me.
Noah for Noah.
Oh no, my jail emoji. I don't know how it's possible, but I don't see a world in which he doesn't get nominated this year, because his performance in The Pit is on another level.
No doubt. And, he could potentially, and we'll get to actors in a future episode of this, but, he could be a contender to actually win it all, which would be nice to finally get that. But,
of course, he's also one of the creators, and The Pit it's beloved. So I've been saying this from the beginning. People have been, since the beginning of Emmy season, as we started talking about, dramas to watch, I said, everyone look out for it. And only the first couple had aired. I got to see him ahead of time, and I was like, just wait till the second half of the season, because no one expected what was coming.
So The White Lotus, another show that we were talking about throughout the season. This is one that, of course, it originally started as a limited series and did very well as a limited series its first year. It won for Outstanding Limited Series, and it's won 2 years in a row for Jennifer Coolidge, who was not in this past season. But, nonetheless, there was a little bit of a backlash to season 3 of White Lotus, but I think a lot of people still really loved it. I loved it. I still enjoyed this season.
It wasn't my favorite of the seasons. I would say it was my least favorite of the 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Did I tune in live every week? Yes. So it doesn't matter
that's a high bar anyway.
Absolutely.
So even a bad season of White Lotus is pretty good.
Better than most things on TV. Yes.
And this, once again, Mike White found a killer cast with Walton Goggins and Amy Lou Wood and Parker Posey.
Not
Pepper,
a weakling
no.
there. There was not a weak person on that cast.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, Jason Isaacs. Patrick Schwarzenegger was a real revelation.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, the threesome, Carrie Coon, Leslie Bibb, Michelle Monaghan. And then love to see, Natasha Rothwell and John Grease back to kind of continue that storyline.
And honestly, when it comes to the actors, any of them could get nominated. I wouldn't be surprised with any of them. So that's a really good, a really good chance that that's going to be a big player this year.
Yeah.
But we have another one we're talking about this time is only won 1 Emmy. Slow Horses.
Yeah, well, there was a slow burn.
This is the definition of a
horses.
slow burn.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it had so many seasons when it first got nominated.
Yeah, and it really wasn't until season 3 that people started paying attention to it, and it finally got those first 9 nominations last time out, and won one for creator Will Smith.
Right.
Not that Will Smith. Yeah, we always have to say that.
Yeah, different one.
No, but this one, by the way, this Will Smith also slaps.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So
Mike's coming in hot today, guys.
That's.
But honestly, that was a good one.
I'm giving the people what they want. The dad
that's why
jokes.
they're here.
Yeah.
So Gary Oldman, Jack Lowden nominated last year, also got the drama Globes nom as well. I would not be surprised if this gets in again because there are a lot of people who love Slow Horses.
Yeah. It's one of those shows that like people in the industry really love. It's like a show. It's you talk to people like, what are you watching? And they inevitably say Slow Horses.
I know. I've only watched a little bit and I never got like hooked, but every Emmy season we've talked about it now for the last 2 years. I'm thinking, do I need to watch the show?
Well, and I always also say Slow Horses, not about horses.
Not about horses. A good reminder.
Yeah. I think some people still think it's a Western. It's like it's not Yellowstone. It's very different. All right, so Squid Game is back. Not about squids. Yeah, actually, I did a whole thing on
last year. There were a lot of animal titles.
Yeah. So, Squid Game was back, and again, it dominated its first time around. It won 6 Emmys in 2022. It got 14 noms. I don't feel like the heat was as high this time as it was the first year out, just because the first year out it was so new and so groundbreaking. Yeah. And didn't quite have the same But by the way, still the biggest show of the year.
Still huge viewership. Yeah. Obviously, still got the giant numbers for Netflix, but people aren't talking about it. I think we're in this time where water cooler conversations are back, and Squid Game didn't have that, does that matter? We don't know. I mean, we don't really know. We're at this in between where it used to be all water cooler because things were weekly. Then it was all binge. Now we're back to this mix of that. So I don't know if Squid Game is going to resonate this year.
Yeah. But nonetheless, it is coming back for its final chapter. Yes. And if it's sort of around the time that people are voting for, season 2, the Bear Effect. Exactly.
We love that.
But Lee Jung-jae, who won last time as Best Actor, back, and director Hwang, who won for directing last time, he's back too. So who knows?
Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised because a lot of people watched it, that's for sure. And then one of the other big contenders this year is The Diplomat. I think another one no one saw coming. But in 2023, Kerry Russell got the sole nomination.
Yeah. So this was another kind of slow burn, but I do feel like more people are talking about The Diplomat.
Oh, yeah. I think so too. And then this year at the Globes, it was nominated for Best Drama. Kerry Russell and Allison Janney were nominated.
People love the Allison Janney.
Who doesn't, honestly? And this year it also got the SAG Ensemble nominee, and I think that says a lot about the industry and who they're watching. So that could really bode well for them. I think that The Diplomat has a really good chance of making a splash this year.
Yeah. This is one of those shows where it just feels like now it's taking off, so it could have many more seasons ahead of it.
Yes, 100%.
So we should see. And I got Kerry Russell, just
Anything.
Yeah.
Felicity forever.
Felicity forever. Yes. Something we can all agree on.
Yes.
All
no
right.
argument there.
So should we give our picks real quick for what's bubbling?
I have a good one. I think it's like a very serious contender this year, and it is Paradise from Hulu. And I think that Sterling K. Brown and Dan Fogelman are a match made in heaven. Obviously, Dan created This Is Us, and Sterling and him came up with this idea together for Paradise. And it's the first time Sterling is executive producing a series with him. I'm such a fan.
By the way, Paradise was going to be my choice too.
Oh,
so let's be together.
Okay,
well,
yeah,
which I
that's
think
good.
we're allowed to both
Honestly,
have the same choice.
That's a great sign.
Sterling K. Brown forever.
Truly.
I love me some SKB.
Me too.
So,
and that whole cast is so good.
Yeah.
I mean, Julianne Nicholson can do no wrong in my mind. Nicole Bryden Bloom, who broke into the scene on this show, who played the crazy character of Jane, completely stole my heart and then broke my heart. So I don't know. I think that this show really could make a splash.
And just that city that they built, like that underground, it's so ridiculous, but I'm fascinated by it. I think about it constantly, like how that city works, like way too much.
Yeah,
so that could be a big artisan's play as well.
If we're still thinking about it, that's a good sign. With the amount of TV, if you're still thinking about one that came out a while ago,
yeah.
That's a good sign.
All right. Well, we should end it right there. That's it. We'll join us again for another edition of Awards Circuit, where we break down another category.
That's right. Thanks for watching.
See ya.